One of the surprises about Lima, Peru's capital, is that it's a tropical city. It's at roughly the same latitude as Australia's Darwin, but much, much bigger, with a population of around 10 million. It's also much older. It was founded in 1535 by the Spanish conquistadors. The historic centre is now UNESCO World Heritage listed. The central plaza is surrounded by buildings from the colonial era. Among them is the San Francisco complex, including the Archbishop's Palace, with its ornate cedar balconies. Inside are the catacombs, used until 1810, containing the bones of up to 70,000 people. Perhaps the most unexpected thing inside the city of Lima is the Huaca Pucllana, a massive adobe and clay pyramid. It is huge, over 500 metres long by 100 wide and in 7 staggered platforms up to 22 metres in height. Built around the year 500 by a pre-Incan people now known as the Lima culture. Not a lot is known about them, except that they had found a way to prosper in what is a coastal desert. Even though it's in the tropics, Lima receives very little rain, usually less than an inch or 2 centimetres in a year. That's one reason why these exposed mud bricks have survived for over 1,500 years. From Lima, it's a 90-minute flight to Cusco, the capital of the Incan Empire. Today, it has a population of around 430,000, and it's a major tourist hub. Over 2 million people visit each year. The conquistadors were quick to plunder most of the Inca buildings here, but outside the city, you can see the ruins of the Sacsayhuaman fortress. It was the site of a very big battle in 1536, which the Incas lost. Today, only about 20% of the fortress remains, just the stone blocks that were too heavy for the Spanish to repurpose. Of course, Cusco is the gateway to the Inca Sacred Valley and the path to Machu Picchu. On the way, we pass the remarkable site of Moray, a series of circular terrace depressions. One theory is that the Incas built these for agricultural research. Because cold air sinks, the ground at the bottom is colder than the air higher up. So the Inca scientists could use these microclimates to simulate higher altitude farming. But a simpler explanation is that these depressions are natural sinkholes. About 65 million years ago, the entire Andes was below sea level, so it has many deposits of limestone and other rocks which underground water can slowly dissolve to form natural sinkholes. The terraces may have been built much later for religious or ceremonial purposes. But there is underground water here, even at 3,200 metres above sea level. Nearby are the salt ponds of Maras. These have been in continuous use since at least 200 years BCE. The techniques haven't changed much in all that time. Water from the mineral spring is captured in ponds and then left to slowly evaporate, leaving behind the salt, which is then harvested and collected. It's hard work, but it's still valuable even today. A little further on, we arrived at the town of Ollantaytambo. This was the site of a battle where the Incas repelled a Spanish attack. The Spanish accounts describe the imposing terraces here as a fortress. It's easy to see why. But current thinking is that the terraces were not built as fortifications, but rather to stabilise against landslides. Whatever the reason, it must have involved an enormous amount of effort. There is a partially constructed temple at the top. It's possible the terraces may have been intended to protect it. On the other side of the valley you can see structures. These are granaries, built higher up where the colder air works as a kind of natural preservative. Ollantaytambo has been continuously inhabited since the 15th century. It's one of the best surviving examples of Inca city planning. The grid layout and its cobblestone streets haven't changed. About 3,500 people live here now. The town's Inca ruins have made it a tourist destination in its own right. But Ollantaytambo is also the starting point for the 40-kilometre hike or train trip to Machu Picchu. The railway follows the Urubamba River with steep mountains on either side until we reach the end of the line, Aguas Callientes, which means hot waters. There are hot springs, but our reason to be here is high above. It's a very steep climb full of hairpins to get up the mountain. But finally we arrive. Machu Picchu. The citadel sits on a narrow ridge, 400 metres above the river below. A classic photo. It's a good idea to have a guide to help you fully appreciate this place. The site spans approximately 13 square kilometres and is divided into agricultural, urban and religious sectors. The bonded Inca stonework uses no mortar. It's renowned for the precise cut and fitting of the blocks. These walls have a natural resistance to earthquakes, which are so frequent in the Andes. There are a lot of unknowns. It's thought that Machu Picchu was created as a kind of country estate for the first Inca emperor, Pachuteki. It would have taken thousands of workers years to construct. Yet the Incan Empire was less than 100 years old when the Spanish conquistadors arrived. It took the Spanish nearly 50 years to completely wipe out Inca resistance. We don't know exactly when or why the Incas abandoned Machu Picchu, but the Spanish never found it. It remained forgotten until 1911, when American archaeologists began to explore the site. Today it is UNESCO World Heritage listed, and around 1.5 million people visit each year. There are now strict daily limits on how many people can visit. You need to book well in advance. We spent the night at a hotel on the mountain, which meant we were able to revisit the site early the next morning. This time we didn't need a guide. At its peak, the Inca Empire ruled 10 to 14 million people. It stretched all the way from Chile in the south to Ecuador and Colombia in the north, covering some 2 million square kilometres. And with no knowledge of iron or steel, and without a written language, it's little wonder that the achievements of the Incas continue to fascinate.